I ran into quite a few challenges trying to recreate this Valentino dress.
This sleeve is giving me major baby bonnet vibes. I made a critical error. What I'm doing looks more like curtains for a nursery than actual couture. Actual reenactment of me opening up the fabric I bought to make this dress. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. That is quite see-through. I did not expect this fabric to be so see-through. Why can I, not for the life of me, just make a pattern out of the box, out of the package, off of a commercial pattern? I thought I'd make a pretty little Easter dress because here's some fits from some years past. And then I found this dress by, I think, Valentino, and I thought, ooh, this with some spring fabric. But the closest commercial pattern I could find was this by Vogue, and obviously need to make some adjustments like making a tiered bottom part, as well as figuring out the adjustments I need to fix the sleeve. So I went to Goodwill. I found a duvet to not use as the real fabric, but to use as practice fabric. And this is how my first sleeve turned out.
Here's how I made the sleeve. So comparing the sleeve of the pattern versus the sleeve of the Valentino dress, I need to shorten the top sleeve and extend the bottom sleeve. So I traced the top sleeve pattern onto tissue paper, but measured only 5/8 inch down the sleeve seam, then just freehand drew a new pattern to make it shorter and make the bottom U-shaped. Since I shortened the upper sleeve, I had to extend the lower sleeve upwards and freehand an inverse U shape so it would fit with my new top sleeve pattern.
Yeah, I tried to extend the cuff. Not sure that really looks good. Not really sure how this is gonna work either. So I'm gonna finish making the rest of the dress in this duvet and see how this looks on in real life. I did just make this little number, which is my practice garment from the duvet. And yeah, it looks terrible because I did it as fast as possible. So I could put this arm in as fast as possible. So I'm gonna take my practice arm, put it in my practice bodice, and see what it looks like in the bodice. It goes in the bodice. Well, it would probably help if this was in the right armhole. All right, first impressions, popping this out. Aww, is it kind of cute? Let's try it on. This doesn't actually look half bad. I mean, okay, it looks terrible because it's made out of a fake duvet cover that I got at Goodwill. A few of my notes. This shoulder, maybe bring this seam up like a half an inch. Make this wider. And I definitely need to drop the waist. Oh,
We paused this because there's a very exciting basketball game on right now. It's the Ivy League Championship, Yale versus Brown, and the score is tied.
anyone who knows me knows if there's an exciting game going on, I'm not really paying attention to much else. But okay, bring this up, make this wider, definitely need to drop the waist down. I want to be able to wear a belt with this, and I can't wear a belt with this seam right here. Oh, and make this smaller, make this cuff like back to its normal size. But I think I can do this. I think I can actually do this. There was a part of me that was like, you know what? I think I'm just gonna have to go back to the normal Vogue pattern and just make it how it is. But I think we can do this. I think we can do this.
Adjusting the upper sleeve was pretty easy. I just retraced my pattern piece, but dropped down the side seams here like a little further, and then moved the length from here to here up just a little bit.
The poofy part of the sleeve is a little more difficult. From my prototype, I want the poofy sleeve to be a little wider. So here's my pattern piece, and you can see it angles inward. I think I wanted to just not angle inward. So if I were to adjust this, I think I would just take it like straight up.
Here we go, just taking it straight up. So if this is my top arm pattern piece, I need to fill this space up here. So I also need to like extend this pattern upwards, which I did. And then I think I just loosely draw this. Does that seem right? Maybe I don't extend these all the way out. Maybe I just extend them this far. So it's not super. Maybe that's what I do. I do like that a little bit better. This just feels better. Okay, I'm about 70% convinced that this is the pattern adjustment. It does look really weird. It looks really weird. But this is basically what I did before. I just extended it out a little bit. It's finally time to bring in the fabric, which this is the point of the project where I do so much upfront work that like the excitement about making the final garment is starting to wane a little bit, but all I need to do is start working with the fabric in my actual project, and then I just feel like my spirit and energy is brought back to life. I feel like this fabric is coming off yellowy, and it definitely does have some yellow aspect to it. I think it's more lime green, but I just love the subtle ditzy print. You can definitely see how see-through it is. But yeah, I'm just really excited to start getting these cut out because we're just closer and closer to having a finished product. Nothing like making an Easter dress on the third day of spring and have it be raining the whole day. Spring's coming in like, I'm here, but I'm gonna be a huge buzzkill. Starting on the bodice of the dress, I'm getting the shoulders and side seams sewed together, and as I'm starting on this dress, I am thinking of Easter's past. There was this one where I had a matching dress with my American Girl doll, and my American Girl doll's name was Sandy, named after Sandy from Grease, because that was one of my favorite movies. But little fun fact, as a kid, I was not allowed to watch The Simpsons, Friends, some other shows, but I could watch Grease as many times as I wanted. What color are we going with that is the color of this dress? Green, yellow, lime green? I would have guessed lime green because I just so happen to have some lime green bias tape sitting around. Yes, I did, because of this Barbie top that I made. And I think it looks a little too green. So I think I'm gonna actually just go with white. But now I think it looks too white. So I think I'll just go with the white because I already have it prepped. I'm pinning the bias tape along the neck edge now, putting that crease 5/8 inch right along that seam line, and I'm just gonna sew right in that crease. Do you see this? Do you see this? I am the absolute worst person at measuring the neck binding and what length the neck binding needs to be. I'm off by like, maybe 2 inches. Maybe 2 inches. So I just cut another piece and we'll keep going, but I'm the worst person at measuring neck binding. Once the binding is attached, I'm just gonna fold it over to the inside and then sew it down. The one nice thing about the fabric being so see-through, which I can't even believe that there's a positive to fabric being see-through, is that I can see, I don't know if you can see, but I can see the bindus tape on the outside. So I can just make one stitch on the outside. See how see-through that is? I can just see right through it. Pinning the two skirt backs together now. There was also the Easter where I sprained my ankle, and it was pretty bad. I sprained my ankle the Saturday before Easter, and it was the one and only time that my mother let me skip Easter Mass because I could not walk. I really couldn't walk. And I was in rehab for at least 3 months. If you're wondering why I'm doing this, it's to grease up the pins and allow them to slide into the fabric a little easier.
Also, I just realized I said rehab in the last clip, like I was going to be treated for something other than a sprained ankle. I think what I really meant to say was physical therapy. I was in physical therapy for 3 very long months to treat that sprained ankle. Attaching the skirt front to the skirt back. Another family tradition, another Easter family tradition of ours was the men would buy the women corsages to wear at Easter Mass. I always thought it was kind of a weird tradition as a kid, but I really appreciate it now. Attaching the bottom to the bodice now. And yep, I don't know if you can tell, probably can't, but it is still raining. It has been raining since like 6 a.m. this morning, and I know because I've been up since 6 a.m. this morning. Well, I don't know if you could tell from the look of frustration on my face, but I feel like I made a critical error when I was extending the bodices 3 inches. Can you see this? I definitely made the bodice piece way too small because I have all this extra fabric for the skirt. So what I did was I just put in some gathering stitches. It's just gonna be gathered. That's just what it's gonna be. Which I don't feel like is a problem because if I look at the photo, I think it is gathered anyway. So I actually think this might look kind of cute. gathered this way. Cute half-made dress alert. Remember my upper sleeve pattern? Well, it's time to sew the seams together. I don't know what you call it, like this underseam here. And I have to say, this is the tiniest little underseam I've ever sewn. Like, it's a 1-pin seam. It's a 1-pin seam. Versus the lower poofier sleeve, which has a very long seam. More normal sized, I would say. Attaching the upper sleeve to the lower sleeve now, I am gonna have to gather. This is definitely not the same length, so I'm gonna have to gather the lower sleeve. And while I am gathering, I feel like I need to share a dirty little secret about this dress that I'm making. It's from 2020. Actually, it's basically from 2019. So it is a Valentino dress from Spring Summer 20 collection, which, as every fashionista knows, they show spring summer collections in the fall. So this dress was shown in the fall of 2019, which was like 5 years ago. But classic style never goes out of style, right? This sleeve is giving me major baby bonnet vibes. And I'm pretty sure I wore a baby bonnet, at least for one Easter. This is the sleeve cuff. This is the sleeve that's supposed to fit into the cuff. I've got a lot of gathering to do here. Well, I've gathered it almost as much as I can. Let's see if it fits. Amazing. I'm just gonna get the cuffs sewed on and then we'll be able to put the sleeves on the bodice. This cuff is so tiny. It's this, look at this. Like it barely fits around my sewing machine and there's so many gathers. The Vogue pattern has a longer skirt than the Valentino one, so I'm just cutting off the bottom of the skirt I made before I attach the layers at the bottom. And to make the bottom of the skirt, all those 3 layers, I cut out a bunch of rectangles out of chiffon fabric, and as soon as I start sewing them together, I'm gonna realize I have a big problem. I have now reached the point in this project where what I'm doing looks more like curtains for a nursery than actual couture. Do you see? Hopefully this is coming off on camera, but these are the bottom layers of my dress and it looks nothing like what I was going for. I did, however, get one layer of the chiffon